This year we're doing something a little bit different. I say different, I'm going to the pub. You know me and pubs. So yeah, we're going to the pub because I guess I'm curious to see how I'm going to react being around other people. Because for me, I've noticed that my Christmas has been very shutting everybody out, being a bit griefy, doing it my way. And now I kind of want to go back out and see people.
Welcome to the last episode of the Full Stop podcast for 2025. And we are a podcast for the childless not by choice and their cheerleaders as well as allies. And the Full Stop podcast is hosted by Sarah Lawrence, Berenice Howard-Smith and me, Michael Hughes. And we explore themes that make up the childless identity, and we hope that with all our special guests, you'll find information and inspiration, and if appropriate, your space in the childless community. Now, this episode, we reflect on 2025 and talk about the complexities of navigating this time of year from our own personal perspectives. All right, we're up. We're done. We're ready to go.
Good. Lovely. Hello. Good morning, audience.
Good evening.
Yeah.
That sounds like the Two Ronnies episode now,
It does.
It does.
Good morning, good evening, and good night. Oh, they were great, weren't they?
Ronnie
They're a
Barker
Christmas
was
staple, aren't they, really? Two Ronnies.
and Morecambe and Wise as well. Yeah. Although when they went to ITV, we didn't watch ITV because of the adverts. Only BBC, when I grew up, which is kind of weird. Oh, yes, it's Good Night from Me and Good Night from Him.
That was it. That
was the one. What was Good Morning, Good Night?
Oh, I think I've got confused with the Truman Show.
That's it,
Jim
Truman
Carrey.
Show.
Yeah.
That's a leap. Ronnie's to the Truman Show.
We're going on. We're only in minutes, and we're tangents already.
Yeah, sorry. I'm going to get us back on track and just say, look, sparkle. I'm wearing sparkle on my jumper. It says love, and the letters are in silver sparkle. So I was quite proud of that this morning.
Very nice.
Very good. Yes.
Gone for a more gothic sparkle, which is kind of grey, black. That's about as sparkly as I get, I think.
You're bringing the goth sparkle. I like that. Quite colourful for me, I thought. Because it's blue, not black.
Pink. There's pink as well.
There's pink in there. That does not happen. That is a very rare thing. That's like my once every year. Maybe, probably.
Your slight nod to colour.
It is, yeah. Yes, indeed.
Anywho, we were going to talk, weren't we? About, I guess, reflect on 2026, and then we were sort of talking
2025. We've not done 26 yet. Don't. Don't do that to me.
Won't that just sum up my brain fog?
Yeah.
I think it's the trauma of turning 50.
Yeah, you've flipped over into that. You're going to forget everything now.
It's just gone.
And then you'll start to get unreasonable nostalgia as well. Places you don't want to get nostalgia. You're like, oh no, I did that all day yesterday.
Oh, do you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because I have been getting nostalgia. I sat and watched Ghost the other day. Do you remember that film with Patrick Swayze in it?
Oh, bless Patrick Swayze.
Oh, it was so good. And I think it's even better when you know what's happening. Rather than sitting watching a film at 50 trying to work out what the heck is going on. Films are so complicated now.
They really, really are, aren't they? Yeah, I need a little bit more. I was watching. I've started watching Downton Abbey from the very beginning, and because someone that we both know wanted to see the finale, and I said I've never watched it, and it's just kind of like, oh, you've never watched it? No, I never watched it, so I've started doing that. I'm thinking, oh, that looked quite nice, and then you realise actually it was just pretty crap working in those times. So that was proper nostalgia. Someone has said in the chat, it's like the Time Travel Society have just published their 2032 AGM minutes.
Oh, I love it.
There's a rabbit hole to go down. Right. So we'll reflect on 2025. So that's the episode today. It's the three of us. Me, there's Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello. It's weird. It's weird because we've already said hello to each other like 15 minutes ago, so it just feels a little bit weird.
Yeah. Also, you were sponging as well. So anyway, you got your face on, your sponge face on. I'm thinking you're doing that anyway. So we're going to
Vicky
be.
always has to go at me about my hand next to my face.
Chaos. Yeah, that's your thinking case. Yeah, the thinker. And yes, so it's the three of us, me, Michael, Sarah, and we are going to be reflecting on 2025 and the things that we've actually thought, actually the podcast and full stop, really, kind of where we've been with that in the last 12 months. Probably a little bit maybe of what's coming up perhaps in 2026, some of the things we'd like to be doing. And talking about Christmas, past, present, and future as well. Sarah, do you want to talk a bit about the Christmas past, present, and future? Because it was a great idea, and you explained it much better than me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, we were thinking about what to do for the Christmas episode, weren't we? And we've done quite a few different things, but we wanted to make it about. So, for me personally, and also working with clients, I often get a lot of people sort of saying, "Oh, I dislike Christmas. This year I'm not going to be doing what I want to do." And they're kind of projecting forward into what Christmas might look like in the future. And we thought it would be an interesting way of kind of looking at where we've been with Christmas, what we presently do, and I guess what aspirations we might have for Christmas still. Whether we do, we may not. But I thought it was an interesting way of looking at it, and I guess giving ourselves a little bit of a break when, on one year it may be that we don't want to do it, another year we might go, yeah, I'm all for it. And recognising that it's a bit of an evolution depending on where you are with your grief.
I love that. Yeah. That's fantastic. Yeah, that sounds really a nice thing to do. Yeah, I like that very much. So the podcast, well, not the podcast, the full stop. We call it the full stop. We keep saying podcast because that's what we've always had is the podcast. And it's the thing that sort of is the grounding and central point, I think, of everything we've done. But beyond that, we've done lots of other things as well. So personally and within the full stop itself. And I thought maybe we could just spend a short while just kind of recapping what's been going on for us as well in the past 12 months. How does that sound?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So Michael did a big thing.
To wrap up the year.
Yeah, good. It does. That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. So what your big thing was that you went to a gala dinner and did some talking. So do you want to talk about that a bit more?
So the Fertility Society of Australia and New Zealand, a lady who is a big part of that and is actually childless as well, asked me to come and talk. I'd done something for her the previous year that was around the experience of IVF, and she knew what my talk would be like, and obviously wanted me to talk in the same vein, which was talking to the IVF industry about how shit they are with their aftercare program. Pretty much in a nutshell, in the way Michael would explain it, that is it. And which I did. And so that was very well received, but unfortunately the right people weren't in the room. So they have different streams at the conference. They have some sort of medical stream, or facility stream where they talk about the buildings and the infrastructure, but they also have the care and nursing side of it, and which is the part that I was asked to present in. And so, yeah, there was a lot of therapists in the room who came up to me afterwards and said, the industry needs to hear this and see this. And so we can talk about some of our future plans later, because that's obviously motivated me in some respects. So that was a really good experience. And it was, it's just interesting when you sit down and reflect on that, how the podcast just, it's not just a podcast anymore. We're doing different things. We're being recognised and people are asking us to speak at events. It was a really, interesting time. They didn't skimp on putting me up in a really nice hotel, which was really good. Pay for the flights to go to Adelaide. So yeah, it was an interesting trip. Emotional, but an interesting trip.
I think it's also worth pointing out too that the feedback from that we heard even over here and through the Full Stop channels, through our social media channels and emails, was all very, very positive and very impactful. The work that you've done and the way that you speak about your experiences, I think, is very relatable to the people that listen. And it's one of those things I think that's so important. I think in lots of areas, but probably even more so right now, the rise of AI and people creating, I don't know, personas, if you want, that aren't necessarily kind of real people or things like that. It brings it back to humanity and about people and lived experiences. I got this feeling that it's slightly going into next year, I suppose, but it's that whole thing of like people matter and our voices and our real experiences are so very important as we think about the changing world. And I think that came across very much in the feedback that we received from what you did, Michael. So yeah, that was a lot of courage and bravery on your part there too.
Yes, thank you. But I'm also part of a consumer advisory group with the University of New South Wales, which has been quite an interesting experience because they hold the oldest database of IVF data in the world. And so they know the success rate of IVF, which is something like 26% for Australia. But when part of the being part of that group was to critique their website and some other documentation that they want to have on their website, and it was full of mothers and babies and that sort of stuff. And there's another woman who's childless in the group. We're going, you can't do this. You're a database. You're a people who manage a database of all this data that says you're successful for 26% of the time, but you still show that it's a great thing and that it is successful. So it's been quite an interesting experience challenging them to rethink that they need to use the right imagery, that they are dealing with numbers and not trying to portray that IVF is not what it is in terms of, 100% successful. So, yeah, that's been quite interesting as well for this year.
So the other thing that we've been doing is going to Chester. We went to Story House. So I'm on the focus group for Story House Childless, which is vast amounts of fun. It's emotional, but very, very supportive. They're just a great bunch of friends, as much as anything else. And it gives me the opportunity to meet other people. I don't do as much as Michael and Sarah in terms of childlessness because I do other things around my design things. So that's my main focus. So this is my kind of little bit that I can do, and I quite like that because it just gives something back along with the Full Stop as well. And of course, Sarah was there, so we actually spent time together in person, which was really nice.
Yeah, no, it was. It was interesting this year, I thought, actually, with the different groups and the different emphasis. So actually it felt like a very different atmosphere this year, didn't it?
Yeah.
It
It was. I thought it was just really nourishing. That was kind of the word I wanted to use when I'd left and I was in the car going home and thinking about how I felt, and I felt nourished. Like there wasn't a keynote and as such, but there were lots and lots. Well, Dawn is the keynote and she was fantastic at what she did. And there was lots of other breakout rooms discussions, which are all based on some of the feedback that had come through, and having more time to talk. So longer breaks, using the whole building, lanyards so people knew who was there and who wasn't there. and the most amazing event. I know you went to hang out in a cold wet park to sing ABBA with some of the people that were there, but I stayed for the they had a cabaret at the end on the Saturday, and I had a lovely dinner as well in the Story House kitchen too. And the cabaret was just amazing, and actually had somebody that I know very, very well who was up doing her thing, and it was the first time that she'd done that for a very, very long time, and was absolutely magnificent, and has actually been a guest on our podcast too. So yeah, we had a fantastic time, and of course met quite a number of our guests. We met Gail Letherby in person, which was brilliant. She's absolutely lovely, and I went to her workshop as well, and that was fabulous.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. More to next year. Spoiler, it is on next year too. So at the end of September. So it's the last weekend, 25th, the weekend of the 25th. If you want to organise your diaries, then that's when it is.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I think also this year, I think for me, Chester was great, but also sort of I've been doing. I go every year. I go to the fertility show in London to represent the childless community. So I'm a bit of an elephant in the room, but it's important that we get voices out there for people that may transition into childless. Following on from what Michael was saying about IVF success rates. There are an awful lot of people with lots of hope, but they need to be kind of, well, I say they need to be aware. I would have loved to have been aware that there was a community of us out there when I hit the end of my fertility shit show, as I call it. So yeah, it was important to be there, but I got to speak this year as well, which was great, and represent not just myself as After the Storm, but also us, and say that actually, there's podcasts, there's all sorts out there. So we got to talk as that. That was really good. That's the first year I've been going since, let's say 2019, might have been before that, but 2019, that's the first year I got to talk, and it was a real push for the stuff that sits just on the periphery of IVF, including the childless community. It was interesting. We were told, "Oh, we don't think you're going to have a big audience." I was like, "Oh, thanks
that's
very
nice. Yeah, cheery.
Yes, but actually, there was a really big audience. There was lots of people that wanted to know that there was something else.
Yeah,
perhaps some comfort. That perhaps they're not ready to be part of this community, but they just need to know that we're there. So that was quite lovely, actually. And being able to speak honestly as well is quite refreshing, isn't it? I imagine Michael's honesty and our honesty is something that people need to hear, isn't it? I think so.
Yeah, I think that's it. And also acknowledging, I think, too, that you can smile and you can laugh again.
Yeah.
It never feels like that. I think my feelings at the time were that I'd never find hope again. There'd never be, I don't have any friends anymore or anything like that. And I think that it's testimony to that showing up, the three of us, through thick and thin. And it's not always been easy. But actually turning up and doing that and saying that actually, sometimes it can be a bit crap, but actually you can also find some hope, and you can also find some really, really good friendships and some solidarity, and people will look after you. I think is important. And I've certainly noticed, I think, on the conversations I've had I'm not entirely responsible for the social media. I know that we share all of that between us, but some of the things I've picked up on has been parents getting in touch and saying, "Yeah, we're learning stuff from you. Okay, I can do better. Someone I know is childless, and I didn't know how to talk to them, and now I'm learning a little bit more about what to say. Not that we've specifically done an episode about that, but it's recognizing that we exist and getting just some ideas of what it's like from our side of the fence, I think, is really, really important too. So that's been, I think, hugely powerful in the work that we've been doing. It's not just been within the childless community, or going a little bit further out. Again, I think a deliberate thing with how we call ourselves, and the way that we've done the branding and the messaging around what we do. It's exciting. It's we're still who we are, but there's just some differentiation coming in terms of our reach now as well, which has been very much shown, I think, in the social media that we do, and the way that we're approaching that now is very different to how we did it before. It's exciting as well. Yeah. Little differences. Growth. That's what I'm going to call it. Yeah, not different. Growth. Yeah, different ways of growing in ways that we didn't probably expect to grow. Again, you hit record and just go, oh, we're going to do this thing and talk about this thing, and then it all starts to grow, and it's just really, really interesting as well. Yeah.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah, who knew? Back of a fag packet into
Post-it note. We're healthy. We're healthy. Yeah. Well, to a point.
Yeah, well, but no, it is. I think well, actually, if we wanted to, we could transition into past, present, and future, couldn't we? But I don't think we expected to be doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
It has been a ride, and it still continues to be, doesn't it? So
yeah, it's exciting actually, because we met yesterday, in fact, only yesterday, to go through next year, and it's exciting. We've got new voices. This is very good. A few voices that we've had before, because we want to go back and revisit a few topics that, again, in the podcast you do the episode and then there'll be something and you go, oh, I want to talk about that as well. So there'll be some voices that you've heard before, but there's also lots of new voices coming in as well, and a little bit of a celebration of somebody else who influenced us as well, and we want to kick off with that early on next year, and that's a spoiler. We're not going to tell you anything else. You're just going to have to tune in and listen, but we're looking forward to that too, because we're inspired by other people, and this person is particularly inspirational in the work that they've done, so that's going to be good too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the end of another year, and we really want to say thank you to all our guests and listeners who keep us motivated to dive deeper into supporting the wider childless community. And we send a special thank you to the members of our very own Full Stop community. It is their support that helps us keep the lights on for the podcast, as well as helping us keep focused on what's important. And it warms our hearts when we get comments like, it's one of the best places on the internet. So regardless of how you identify, you are welcome. So why not come and try it out with a free month on us and see what you think. And in the meantime, we look forward to another year of exploration into the childless space, and we'll see you in 2026.
Shall we transition to the C word?
Oh, go on then.
If we have to.
We've already said Christmas. We can say Christmas. It's fine. Come on, let's do Christmas.
Saying, what C word?
C word. Yes, the Christmas word.
Not the other one.
No.
Yeah. The longer word, not the 4-letter one.
Yes. Yeah, the one that we can put onto Apple. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It makes my life easier, thanks.
So yeah, I mean, I guess I'm curious. Mm-hmm. What have you, with the past, present, future theme, what have you found with your feelings around Christmas?
I'm gonna defer to Michael, because Michael's connection's working. I think we ought to grab him while we can.
It's working for now.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Actually, it's really quite pertinent. This morning, we have a ritual every Sunday morning. There is a certain number of YouTube channels that we watch. They consistently post on a Sunday. Well, for us, it's a Sunday morning, and there's a family that we like to say invested in, because sometimes YouTube's a funny thing, because we invest in one family that are building a house in the Arizona in the United States, and it's an adobe style house. This is not the one we're talking about. But all they do is fill dirt bags and build walls. Here we are investing our time in watching them fill dirt bags making walls. What is that? Anyway, the YouTube's a funny thing. Where I was going is that we watch another family who are probably not our values, but they've built a life for themselves in northern Idaho. And the mother in that family is very done the Halloween thing, doing the Thanksgiving thing, and now it's like Christmas. They're decorating their house for Christmas. And I turned to Vicky and I said, how do you feel about that? Like, how do you feel about that? She goes, oh, I love it. I like watching the family together, and it's really warm, and I love watching. You know, obviously there's grief behind that because that's not what we're doing. But she said, I would really love to have created the traditions, with our kids, and that would be, and I get it. I get that there's this family thing going on, but for me, the way that my grief comes out is that it's just like, what a fucking waste of time. What are you putting this stuff up for? Why are you putting this up for minutes of the day or days of a year? Then you've got to find places to store it once you take it down. Why do I need to get excited about it? Because it's not my thing. So I actually feel Christmas is tough for me. And I also think that may be because we used to have like a traditional Christmas when we were kids, and before the whole we grew up and childless became a thing in our life. And so that's the way I can't be asked. I am the good time Grinch. I am Scrooge, and I wear that proudly because I just feel I'm being authentic to me. And from a future point of view, we have plans that we want to, at least once in our life, go somewhere where it's snowy and have a log cabin over Christmas. And here's me saying that, I don't want to do the Christmas thing, but from an experience for Vicky and I to share that can be real and meaningful, that's what we want to do.
Oh, I love that. You're going to make snow angels, you're going to build a snowman, or you're just going to drink whiskey in front of the fire?
I'll probably, because I'll be in my 60s, there'll be whiskey in front of the fire. Because I've done,
manage those expectations.
I've done the snowman thing because, all right, sorry, I'm going out on an old man tangent here. 2012, we came over to the UK and had Christmas with my sister. Anyway, so my nephew, Harry, he was, 12 or something, 10, 12, something like that. Anyway, we built a massive snowman at the front of their house. It was huge. It was like the Easter Island equivalent in with the village that they live. And it was there for weeks after we left. It was so big. It was actually quite fun. It was good.
I know that it snowed in 2012 because that was the first Christmas or that first winter that we had moles. We'd rescued our dog from the rescue shelter, and I've got some pictures of her in the snow. I do remember that snow, and they're the kind of it snowed a couple of times since. The last time it snowed was we had COVID, so we didn't do anything. But that first year I took loads of pictures of her out in the garden here in the snow, and I've used them ever since for Christmas cards. Well, not all of them, but some of them I've used for Christmas cards because it was like I've got some photographs of my dog in snow, and she looks very, very young and sprightly, and of course she's now 14. But I do remember that Christmas. But I didn't know you then, Michael. But it's weird to think that you weren't that far away on this side of the world. How weird!
Yeah. I've got photographs of it. I'll have to put the photograph in the newsletter when we
that'd be amazing.
Write that.
Oh yes, let's do some photographs. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I love it. What about you?
What about you guys though? What about your past, present, future Christmas thoughts?
Okay. I don't mind. I think I've talked about it before, but my attitude to things has changed a little bit, partly due to more therapy and things like that, and just trying to sort of deal with some of the grief, I think, as well. I mean, it's work in progress. I don't think that's ever going to change, but my Christmases were, when I was a kid, were vast because my grandparents had a really nice house. They used to invite in-laws round, friends, people from the village, someone they knew, random person on the street, whoever, plus family. So there was always dogs, family, there was the kids' table, and then you got progressed to the adults' table. And then if you were a naughty adult, you got progressed back down to the kids' table, and no one wanted to sit on the kids' table. When my great grandparents were alive, then they had a flat upstairs. The house was actually, they lived upstairs, so there's another kitchen in the house, and they also had a kitchen in the caravan that they had out to as well. So invariably there would be something crackers going on with the kitchen somewhere, and people carrying roast potatoes around or whatever. It was always absolute mayhem, and I loved it. I think probably my adults were probably just traumatized by the whole thing, but as kids I loved it. And every year somebody would volunteer to dress up as Father Christmas for the kids, and we'd go out with my granddad and we'd take the dogs through all and look at all the Christmas lights, and just to get us out of the way, I think, whilst everyone did washing up. And I remember that with so much love, just so much love, and everything was the same. We didn't open the presents until the evening after we've eaten and we'd done the washing up and the dogs were walked. Then we opened the presents, and we still do that now. That still happens with my parents. We open them in the evening, and it's kind of like a test of endurance. Even as an adult, you're like, oh God, I want to open the presents, but you can't. And my brother does it too. They do the same. It's just what it is. So yeah, there's no Doctor Who in our house. We're doing presents. Okay, that's just how it is. My husband thinks this is absolutely nuts, and he's had to just had to adjust to this. I have to give him a present in the morning, just like, have something to open, otherwise you're just going to whinge at me all bloody day. But this is what we do. It's just like, it's rigid anyway. So I look back on that, and it's surprising talking about it now with emotion, but with love and with gratitude for the experience, because I think my family was incredibly unique. My grandparents were quite eccentric, and there were a lot of them, and it was quite overwhelming, but it would make it very, very unique. So I look back on that with huge amounts of love as well. My present Christmases have always been a bit of a struggle because of that. I think that memory is so strong, and it went on for until my grandmother died. I think the last few years of her life were not easy, but certainly even when my granddad had died and he was Mr. Christmas, we still tried to carry it on in the best way that we could. So it's still a relatively recent memory for me. My grandmother passed away in 2019, so it's not that long ago, I think, for me. So yeah, there's some stuff. I think the present Christmases can be a little bit tricky. I think I've created some new and different things that I've done. In Cambridge, we have this amazing event. I was talking to Michael about it before we hit record, called the Mill Road Winter Fair, which is entirely voluntary. And in context, Mill Road is famously indie. It's a very big indie street in Cambridge, full of independents. The Tesco's had to close because nobody wanted it and everyone boycotted it. It's that sort of street, and it's full of loads of food from all across the world. There's a great big kind of Oriental supermarket where you can get all sorts of food in there as well. It's just amazing and full of lots of diverse communities as well, and one of the most beautiful mosques, I think, probably in the country. It's just quite beautiful, the whole street. And they close it, and they have this fair. So outside every venue, there's food, there's Morris dancing. Twice saw that. Oh gosh, there was singing. There was a great big parade with the book called the Iris Uga Samba Band, and they're very loud, and you can hear them all across Cambridge when they get going. And they had a fire engine pull. It's amazing. It goes on all day, and that for me, I go because that's my Christmas. And you can go on your own. You can go with people. I went with my dearest friend that I've known forever, and my two. I'm going to adopt this phrase from Stella, goddaughters as well. So we had a lovely day yesterday. We went and did that, and a friend of mine that set it up has since passed away, and we had a little reflection on her as well. And it's been going for 20 years, which is about kind of timely for where I am, I think, with my journey. So that felt quite a nice thing to do. But I don't tend to go overboard with Christmas here. But I think that for me is nice because it celebrates where I live. And that's been hard to kind of restore that and to feel I guess, at peace with where I am, because me and this house and my city have been through a lot. In my street, we do a carol concert. I find that quite hard with the carols, but it's always lovely to go out and there's mince pies and mulled wine and all out on the street, and all the neighbours come out and we all do something, and we put up all the Christmas tree lights. So all of the green where I live has got these amazing, beautiful silver birches, and they're all decorated with lights now. And that's really lovely to come home to, and to see all those up in the evenings is a real joy too. It's a very lovely street where I live. It's very community minded, and that feels good as well. So they're nice things, but I can literally get out. The tree that I've got is a real tree, a little one in the pot, from Bloom and Wild, who are famous for the thoughtful marketing. I literally get it out and I can find some baubles in a box in the drawer and put them up, put some lights on. That's Christmas. But then I always have fairy lights up all year round. They don't ever come down in my house. So it's all very kind of minimal, in the sense that it takes me about 5 minutes to do my house for Christmas, because that's the only thing that I do. So that, I think, is quite nice. I can manage it in a way that isn't too overwhelming for me. So that's kind of where I am with that at the moment. The day is okay. My parents are still around. I'm very blessed to have them still. And they're still gearing up to do a Christmas lunch. And I'm just thrilled and grateful that they can actually manage to do that. I wasn't sure. But they said, yes, they're going to give it a go. So we're going to go and do that. And I'm very lucky to still have that. And I don't take that lightly either. I think that's important. Yeah, that's kind of where I am with that. Future Christmases, I don't know. I don't know. I find that quite hard. I try to do a thing where I manage my worries a bit better about that. My husband is older than I am. Molly is 14. My parents are aging. I'm very conscious of those things and what I might be facing in the future. But I'm trying to do better at managing my worries and thinking a bit more about them. How I'm physically feeling, how I feel, what my thoughts are, and how my behaviours are too. So am I escalating this? And I just take a moment just to pause and to think about that. And that tends to kind of get me out of the kind of worry cycle where I'm going, oh my God. And I've literally gone off into a whole kind of rabbit hole of worry. So that's been a really useful way to look at it, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's impossible to predict that. If I could, I'd like to go and have Christmas somewhere else that isn't in the UK. That would be fantastic, just to do it somewhere else. I do have my Australia fund. I'm just putting that out there, just so you know. Just so you know, you're warned. You're all right. You're fine. Yeah.
There's a room here, but I would just say to you that it will be a Christmas you would never experience in your life.
I know. It's going to be weird. Christmas in a heat wave is just weird.
It's weird.
Yeah. But I quite like the weirdness. I think the weirdness could be quite fun. I quite would enjoy that. And I also fancy doing like some kind of great big kind of like huge kind of house somewhere that's a bit historic and weird, like a group booking, and just having lots of friends. I think I would probably get quite addicted to that. It's almost recreating the Christmas I had as a child, but actually with friends. I found family. I've got a real thing that I want to do that at some point, to get everyone together in some weird place. There's a railway station at Alton Towers, not at Alton Towers, but in Alton. It's owned by the Landmark Trust. And it just looks like a place where you could have a really good Christmas, I think. But yeah, and it's in the middle of the country, which is sort of helpful, I suppose.
That sounds amazing.
I know, that would be quite good. So that's kind of what I was thinking of. Maybe I just do Christmas, but with my found family. With, I don't know, however many. That's got 2 kitchens, so that kind of felt quite good too.
Oh, wow.
I was like, it's got to have 2 kitchens. So we're kind of going for like Downton Abbey at that point. But anyway, yeah, 2 kitchens would be quite
amazing.
good. I know, that would be quite good, wouldn't it? Yeah, so there you go. I know. So there you are. Wow. That's me. What about you?
Me? Well, I'm already planning to, gate crash the log cabin in the snow somewhere in the future, and then have my dinner.
Should we air tag him next time Michael comes over? We're going to stick an air tag, and then we can kind of like know exactly where he is at any given moment. We'll be like, "There you are! You're there! You're in Norway. We found you. Right, we're off."
You down.
I know.
But no, for me, I'm a bit like you, Berenice. When I was younger, our Christmases were crazy. There was like family. You remember, like it looked like an explosion in Poundland, where when if you walked into my front room, it was just wall, floor to ceiling tacky, which I absolutely adored, and I really miss all of that. So you'd have all the. Do you remember all the crepe paper and the foil and yeah, it looked like it just looked like a really tacky explosion had gone off. It was fantastic, and it would be noisy. It'd be full of music, and we'd sort of do the presents in the morning, then we'd go over to grandparents in the afternoon, and the grandparents would gradually get sozzled on whiskey, which was always fun to watch because they'd start bickering. But yeah, no, it was great, and my nan would start swearing, which was always was watching my nan swear. It was one of my like, mwah, it was one of my favourite things because she just
Influential in your life, I feel.
yeah, it's where I think it's where I get my effing and jeffing from. It's brilliant. But she used to do it when she'd be all nice and coy, and then she'd just go off. It's brilliant. So yeah, we had really loud Christmases, and I think the thing that I really struggled with was how quiet they become. Because you think, right, I'm gonna have a family, and I'm gonna pass all that noisiness down to my kids, and it's going to be chaos. And of course it isn't. So for me, I needed to kind of reject Christmas for a little while. I kind of parked it because it didn't matter what I tried to do, it wouldn't work. And obviously, as you rightly say, it brings all the grief up, doesn't it? I remember Jim would sort of say to me, "You're going to do Christmas this year?" And for a long time, it was an emphatic no, because I couldn't. It was just too painful. And then there's a pain in that, isn't there? Because it's kind of like, well, this is not the Christmas I want at all. And gradually, I think as my grief has subsided, I have started to embrace Christmas, but it's very different. So mine's very Yule, Yule inspired. So mine's more about focusing perhaps on the 21st of December, which is kind of the winter solstice, rather than Christmas Day, because that helps me reframe it into something that's a bit quieter, perhaps a bit more thoughtful for me. I have noticed that I'm starting to be able to listen to the music. For a long time, the triggers were around the music, the Elton Johns, the Whams.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. It would just go poof, and I'll be in bits. But I've started to being able to listen to that again. So for me, I'm starting to bring it back in. This year we're doing something a little bit different. I say different. I'm going to the pub. You know me and pubs. So yeah, we're going to the pub because I guess I'm curious to see how I'm going to react being around other people. Because for me, I've noticed that my Christmas has been very shutting everybody out, being a bit griefy, doing it my way. And now I kind of want to go back out and see people. Doesn't necessarily mean I want to do the whole family thing. That still feels too much for me. That's going to be, triggers galore. So I'm just gently easing myself back into Yule and Christmas, which feels good, feels different. And I think it's a kind of bit like yourself, Berenice. It's a marker of where I am in my grief. So yeah, that's interesting. But future Christmases, I don't know what that looks like. We've talked about going away, but actually, I'm turning as I age. I'm turning into a bit of a homebody, and I quite like being at home. So going away doesn't feel right for me. But it may be that actually I invite family over at some point. I see if I can do it different but similar. But I don't know, if I'm honest, because obviously I've got aging parents. My nieces and nephews are now kind of aging out of Christmas as well. So that's kind of a missed thing, if that makes sense. I'm going to have a couple of bored teenagers sitting around here. I think, so maybe it might be found family that come in. Again, I'm open to the possibilities and the potential, whereas I've not been in the past. It's been very much get it out of the way, get it done, move on, and just, deal with it the best you can. But I think some Christmases as well, putting up the decorations, I don't know about you both, but I found that incredibly emotional. putting decorations up and putting the tree up and doing that. And I've kind of done it on my own. I think Jim's kind of Michael's mindset. He's like, well, what's the point? They're going up for a couple of days. What's the bloody point? You've got to put them away then. I think he's very much like you in that respect, Michael. But this year we got a couple of new cats because I lost my previous cat. And these two are a lot younger, a lot quicker, and they would just butcher. Absolutely.
They will.
All of the Christmas decorations. We're a bit old now, so I'm like, I'm not doing it this year because they would just go crazy on it. So that feels a little bit sort of, oh, that's a shame, which again is interesting to notice because some years it's felt like an obligation.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very, I do sit with what is a bit of an evolution for me, Christmas. It does change as you go, you move through your grief, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it, what I've noticed in your conversation? And actually, we talked a bit about it in our online community as well, and people were sharing their thoughts around this, and it felt like lots of things about lights, Christmas lights, and about that was quite a nice thing. People felt that they could indulge with things with Christmas lights and stuff because they're fairly innocuous, and you can go and do that, I think, on your own terms. You can, I mean, again, the lights with my granddad, but actually we've been away for Christmas. I found Christmas away from home. Actually, now I couldn't do it. I want to be here. Even just going to my parents, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to. I do want to leave the house, but I almost want to honour this house has a Christmas, because I think it should have a Christmas. And we can go away a bit beforehand. I'm going to go away shortly, and I just want to go away and just do a little bit of thoughts on my own, and also go and look at the lights. I want to go and see the blow up snowman and the Santa Claus. I do not want one on my house, and we don't have them on our street, but I will go and look for the most gaudy lights possible because that just makes me happy, and it's just something I think I can kind of associate with. It's not the carols, it's not the music, as you say, but it felt like to get what I wrote down when you were talking was you have to get the noise of Christmas. You have to go out and see people and possibly break some boundaries and go into spaces that might not necessarily feel safe. And that's really hard. And that was kind of what I felt from what you said, but also from, I think, some of the stuff that we've been talked about in our online community as well, is that people then have to go a bit further out and test themselves. And that can be really hard to do. And the other thing that came up was how we're having other markers for that celebration. So for you, it's Christmas Yule. For Michael, YouTube and watching what other people are doing. And then for me, it was the Mill Road Winter Fair. They're things that I wouldn't have done before that I've actually brought in now. We've all done something a little bit different to go. And it's a curiosity perhaps about that, being a bit more curious about Christmas and going, okay, what can, because it could be anything. I have literally sat on the sofa in a holiday cottage with cheese on toast on the year that I just couldn't do Christmas dinner. I didn't want to do it. I didn't have stuff around me to do it with anyway. What's wrong with cheese on toast? Do we have to have a Christmas dinner? So I think being curious about it and breaking some traditions because we can do it, and maybe perhaps having some freedom in the quiet, perhaps sometimes to just do what you want to do. I volunteered at Christmas before as well when I felt particularly bad, and gave that a go too, and that was kind of interesting as well, just to go and see what other people do. It was like a completely different Christmas.
I love that food thing. I mean, that I'm all about the food, drink, but on Christmas dinner I can kind of take or leave. I cook it, but I'm just like, yeah, there's so much better out there, isn't there? But I love the evening. When you've got you got cheese, you got pickle.
You love your picky tea, don't you?
I really love a picky tea.
You want an art form with picky tea. I
honestly.
think it's like the thing that I associate with picky tea.
It's because you don't get bored of one thing. You know what I mean? I get if it's always turkey, I just I'm kind of done with it. But if you've got olives and then you've got cheese and you've got crackers and you've got a little bit of mulled wine, it's brilliant. Yeah, I'm all about the picky tea.
I quite like the idea of going for a curry on Christmas.
Oh,
The Mill Road has the curry houses open. Not all of them, but some of them are, and you can go and have a curry on Christmas dinner here. Which is,
nice.
I've known someone do that. A friend of mine who doesn't have children. She's single and childless, and thought, oh, I'm going to go and have a curry. And actually, it was just like a complete kind of full-on craziness, and actually got totally welcome in by everybody. She just went on her own, and she said to them, "Look, I'm on my own for Christmas. Can I come in and just have a curry?" And they were like, "Come in, you'll be welcome." And it just was really nice because it was a completely different thing, and everybody else was a bit, oh, what's going on? But this is fun, because it wasn't Christmas dinner. So I think sometimes there are people out there doing some things that might be quite hopeful, I think, or recognizing. I like to think that we're starting to talk a bit more about loneliness as a society at Christmas, and it's not a taboo subject anymore.
No.
I think the idea of making it perfect, I think, is hopefully that's has some context, I think, against loneliness these days. I like to think so.
That's such a do you know what? That's such an important point, isn't it? I think that's past, present, and future wrapped up, isn't it? It doesn't have to be perfect.
Mm.
It's probably never going to be perfect because you can't build the thing that you've got in your head.
Mm.
And actually, I think it is about being kind to yourself and going, well, this is Christmas this year.
Mm.
Maybe next year will be different.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it might be a curry buffet somewhere. It's just being nice to yourself, isn't it?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, again, I'm not going to devalue anybody else's experiences, but I've had Christmases on my own, partly ill health, but also grief, where I just want to be on my own, and again,
Mhm.
I'm not kind of associating with other people's kind of grief and with being single and childless, but I've had Christmases where my husband's been out and done things because he's fairly okay with it all. He's not a Grinch, but he's also not anti-Christmas. He's sort of somewhere in between that kind of like mid-ground where it's okay, it's a thing, but it's over soon and he can get to Boxing Day and the football starts and that's okay. That's kind of where he's at. He wants to get to Boxing Day. And I've just gone, I don't want to go out. I don't want to go and do the Christmas thing. So, and he's gone because he wanted to see his family his parents when they were alive. So again, just sitting, and that was weird, but also it was just a bit of a relief to go, I don't want to do that. And I think I just read books, and I actually was okay with that. Books do they, and then just literally just went, okay, look, it's a day when no one else is doing anything. No one actually had, providing you can maintain your boundaries and go, I can't do it, then I enjoyed the silence of nobody else around. That felt okay. There's no emails. I could just unplug the internet and then just not do. Was helpful. But how that feels going forward, with the very, very real, and it is a real, and it will happen, that I will be on my own at Christmas. It's going to happen. It's going to be very real. It's more than it is. It is, without going into too much detail because I don't really want to. But again, boundaries. I think it's feeling very real at the moment, and that is, it could worry. I'm just trying to think of sort of other ways to navigate it. It almost certainly won't work out like that. I mean, there's expectations and things, again, setting myself up, I want to do this and do that. But, it's a thought, it's an intention rather than a goal. And in intentions, I can be more flexible. So I think that's the way I look at it, of being gentle and kind to myself. And in the community, we're doing things as well. I think that's important to note as well, because that's a different Christmas for us. So we've got the Culture Club, our little book chat. It's books and films, podcasts, anything anyone's done that people think are safe or interesting to watch. And we all come together in the community, the Full Stop community, and we talk about that little gathering on Zoom. And that's Christmas Eve, because that felt like a nice time to do it. In the middle of Christmas Eve at 1:00, so it's a little bit easier for most time zones. And that's always lovely to talk about. And we have, apart from Australia, because it's 1:00, that makes it so god awful time in Australia. I can't
Middle of the
remember.
night, yeah.
Yeah. We might have to do a second one in the new year. There'll probably be one in New Year's Eve as well to bring everyone together. And Michael and Vicky, you're doing the Christmas Day chat this year.
Yeah, so it's usually me being curious about what other people have been up to. And or I'm talking about geography So one of the two. No, but
Googling people where they are.
well, look, I'm just a really curious person, so I really love the chats because I'm asked, what have you been up to? What are you doing? Where and I'm just I'm very curious, and I just love to know. So when they mention places, oh, have I been there? Where's that close to? And I'm off.
You are. It's lovely. I've been to a few of them as well, and I just love your curiosity, and it's just such a lovely vibe. And it's really lovely on Christmas Day because it's just the end of your day and it's the start of ours, and there's just that nice kind of togetherness as well. So that's an actual in-person conversation, so people can turn up to that in our community. Because if anyone's listening and they go, I want to speak to Michael and Vicky on Christmas Day, then just head to the website, or you might want to speak to me about something you've been doing. Maybe you've got an urge to talk about a book or something you want to bring and to chat with our community, then you just need to go to our website and you can find the information there on how to join, and you get your first month on us anyway, so you might as well come along, gift yourself us.
Yeah,
oh, that's frightening thought, isn't it?
They might be like, hell no.
God, I'm switching off. But you can, if you wish to. If you wish to, then that's where we are. And of course, we'll be back in the new year with more recordings and Story House again and other adventures. I'm sure there'll be many to come that we don't yet know about.
New Year's Day as well. I'm going to be on New Year's Day.
Oh, of course you are. Yes, you are. New Year's Day.
What all about me? How
Sorry,
rude.
I'm so rude. Yes. Sarah, yes.
But yeah.
Yeah. What are you planning to do on New Year's Day? Have you got a theme for that, or is it anything goes?
I'll see what people want to talk about. I mean, if they want to reflect back on what the festive period has been like, or if they want to reflect forward about what they're hoping for 2026, open.
That's going to be lovely. Yeah, that would be nice. Nourishing, yes.
Or we might be sitting there with hangovers. Who knows?
Don't know. If you're anything like your granny, I mean, you know.
I'll be effing and jeffing. I won't be on the whiskey though. I don't like whiskey.
I do not do whiskey either. But now I don't really do drink anyway now, so whiskey's particularly a no-go.
Wow. My whiskey story, I'll tell you this very quickly. So as a young person, I as a bet for £5, 5 whole pounds, I was bet that I couldn't down a pint of whiskey with a splash of Coke.
Oh God, that sounds horrific.
And my friend told me it was her dad's best 10 years Scotch. And it wasn't.
Oh.
It was the roughest whiskey. But I think I got about a third of the way through it.
So did you get your £5?
I got my £5. I nearly got killed on the way home because obviously it hit me like a 10-ton truck of whiskey. And then I was very, very unwell. So, yeah, I can't even smell whiskey now. So I learnt a very valuable lesson about not messing about with strong alcohol.
That is like my husband he smoked once, was violently ill, missed playing in a football match, and has never smoked again because he missed the football. The football was the priority. So it's that kind of, you learn your lesson.
You do.
Yes.
You do.
School of hard knocks, that one.
Oh, yeah. Well, very nearly, because I nearly got run over. But
God, yes, that would have been quite a hard knock. God, £5. Oh, well.
I know. Goodness knows how I spent those riches. But, yeah. Anyway, that was my story.
And on that happy note,
yes.
Don't do what Sarah does.
Do not.
Yeah, we wish you a peaceful Christmas, something gentle that shows up in the way that you'd like it to be. And look after yourselves, I think, is the most important thing that we can tell you.
And if you're like me, you've got my permission to bar humbug.
Yeah. And why not? Michael Ebenezer Hughes.
That's it. I'm getting the T-shirt.
Yeah. Have a lovely one, everyone. Take it steady on yourselves, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
Bye bye.
Thank you for listening. We hope you got something from this to help you over the Christmas break. And if you want to tell us so, We'd love to hear from you, be it a comment on a social media post or an email to us. And you'll find our contact details on our website, www.thefullstoppod.com. And if you want to support us with what we do, you can find ways to do that there too. But the best way would be for you to join our online community where you can both support our work, but also become part of what others are saying is one of the best online spaces for support and community on the internet. And whilst at our website, you can sign up to our newsletter, check out the show notes and resources. And as always, it's important for us to let you know you are not alone.